Okay, let's make a new Tinkercad design. Let that load. And this was just kind of a wild idea I had not too long ago of framing a house. And I'm going to make let's say it's 2x6s or something. Is that right? No, because that would be 2x6. Whoops. 2x6. Yeah, if those were 2x6s. No, that wouldn't be good. Let's make the dimensions be something like, let me turn it this way. Let's go 2 or 3. Let's go 3 wide and 1 tall. And let's make that the width and 1x3 basically. Okay, so it's 1 thick, 3 wide. Let's work with that. So that'll be our basic dimensions. And let's make this board. Let's outline the shape of a house. So 100, 100 might be good. And we'll go Control D, and I'm going to hold Shift. Go out that way. And then, is that right? Let me see. This is 1 pixel away from that square. I think what I want to do is arrow key it over, because I'm assuming then it'll be lined up here. Yeah, which means we need to do the same with this one just to keep it nice and straight. So I'm going to duplicate that and drag it this way and rotate it. And let's try to position it there. Might have to zoom in. I'm going to hit F so I can zoom in, and you can see that it's essentially right there. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's kind of like overlapping, or is it? Yeah, it's overlapping by 1 square and 2 squares there. So, actually, maybe we can do like that and then move this over 3 squares. Okay, so now, so they're like pieces of wood that don't have to be cut. Now I'm going to copy this. Let me click off, copy this, Control D, and then Shift arrow key it over. Now let's hit F so it'll zoom over there. And I can see I need to scoot it over about 3 pixels, 1, 2, 3. And now it's parked perfectly in there. Okay, so now for the next trick, and I've paid a lot of attention to carpentry, people building houses and stuff. And so I'm gonna try that here. So I want to make it 3 wide, or no, 1 wide, hit enter, and 3 deep. So 3. And let's take a look at what we got now. So how tall is this? Let's go 30. And then we'll bring it over here. Let's park it right there. And you can see, if you zoom in, hit F, you can see that it's not sitting on top of this, but we're going to make it so it does. If you hold Control and up arrow, it lifts up. And now you can see that it will actually park right on top. If I hit left arrow key, now it's right on top of there. And if I hit up, it'll go there. All right, so here's what we're going to do, because framing this house could seem like an intimidating operation, but I'm going to select it, hit Control D, and then I'm going to right arrow over a few. I'm going to hit Control D, Control D, Control D, and just keep duplicating that until we've covered the entire span. Okay. I'll hit F to zoom in, and luck would have it, we're only 1 away. I'm going to go 1 more, and now it's complete. And let's just take this and duplicate it and try to move it over this way. And I'm going to rotate it by clicking on this. It's not letting me. I have to reposition it a little bit there, I think. Nope, that text box is still in the way. So if that happens, just reposition. There we go. Maybe that'll help. Okay, I'm going to hold shift while I do this so it constrains to a, perfect 90 degrees. And then I'm going to right arrow it over. And let's see, maybe I'll just park it right next to that. And then I'll Control D, and then I'll right arrow. Oops, nope, that's not what I wanted. I want this selected. Control D, right arrow. And then we'll go Control D until it makes it to the end. And let's zoom in by hitting F. Looks like we ended up perfectly right on the end like that. And by the way, I don't even have to do that same operation again. I could just do this. I'll come around here and I'll select all these. Let me zoom out. I'm going to select from here over, but I don't want that piece. So I'm going to hold shift while I click it. All right, so now I have this whole vertical wall. I'm going to hit Control D, and then I'm going to shift arrow key it over, and let me hit F so I can get over there. Okay, looks like I need to just arrow key it a few times and we'll be perfect. All right, awesome. Now let's do the same thing for this wall. I'm going to drag a rectangle around all these and just, carefully select all those. Control D. Let me arrow key or angle things a little bit more like this, and then I'll arrow key them over while I'm holding shift. And let's zoom in and see if we're positioned correctly. Yeah, looks like we're there. Okay, nice. So then it's a matter of, let's click on this one. That's the baseboard or whatever. The plate. And I'm going to hit Control D, and this time I'm going to hit Control up arrow, and if you want to hold shift as well, it'll go faster. And now I'll let go of shift because I'm almost there, and then I'll go around this way and click on that one. Control D, Control up arrow. That's without holding shift in addition. And then we'll just rotate around, back away, click on this plate, Control D. This time I'm going to hold Control Shift and up arrow, and now I'll let go of shift and just up arrow once with the control button. Okay, so click on this one, Control D, Control Shift up arrow, let go of shift, keep Control held down, and up arrow. So if you're not catching that, Control up arrow lets it, move straight up. You don't hold Control, it'll do something else. All right, so now the next step would be to build rafters. And the way we could do that, let's see. What would be the easiest way to do this? First, I think I'll lay one on the ground, and we want it to be 1 wide and 3 tall, and then just really long. So let's go like 60 or something. Okay, now you can grab this cone and lift it up if you want, or you can use the up arrow while you're holding Control. That also works. But I think I'm going to, position this. Yeah, might actually be easiest to grab this work plane. Let me zoom in a little bit. Let me put a work plane right on top of here. And then I'm going to move this around and hit D for it to drop. And then I'm going to, I don't want it to overhang too far. That's probably good like that. And then I'm going to rotate it Actually, that might be good right there. And then I'll lift it up until it looks like it's just touching right there. And it looks like I could left arrow key it a little bit. It looks right on the edge there. And now, while it's still selected, let me take a look here. Are we about halfway? I think so. It's important that this peak is about halfway, and that board looks like it's about halfway. I could be more precise probably, but anyways, so I'm going to select this as it already is, and I'm going to hit Control D, and I'm going to left arrow a few times, and then I'll just hit Control D a bunch of times until it spans the entire distance. And yeah. And actually it's probably okay that it's hanging over. I'll go one more even, and we'll just build some rafters that hang underneath it, some joists or whatever they call them. Control D, left arrow, Control D again. Yeah, that way we have kind of a overhang in front of the house. All right, so now let's back away and select all this and hit Control D. And then let's turn this way and shift left arrow. And then while it's still selected, let's go to reflect. And now you can see these arrows. It's showing you what will happen if you reflect it. I'm looking for the one that's, I guess, on the other side, way over there. Yeah, you see that? Let me bring it around. It's right here. Boom. All right, so now it looks like I need a left arrow a little bit. Yeah. Lucky me. Luck would have it that it looks like it's just about, it's got a little bit more to go. I'm going to left arrow one more time. Okay. So, and that's perfect because, well, I don't know if that's perfect. That peak looks a little sketchy. It may be. Yeah. We could also do something to chop off all those peaks, but as long as you've got it somewhere near this, I'd say it's good. And at that point, this is a pretty big accomplishment, but as you probably noticed, it's all kind of easily done with duplicate, Control D. And I'm gonna end the video here, and we'll pick it up where we left off later and add more to it. Okay? Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.